Welcome to the Blue Dragon Guild, a channel all about Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Baron.
And I'm Mackenzie.
Today we're taking a trip to the land of Theros, the most recent book to come out. So more specifically, we're going to be talking about the supernatural gifts and the races that come in this book. So there are 6 races featured in this book.
I know one of the ones I was most excited about. Been waiting a long time. Really glad they did it. Humans was in this one, male and female. Standard height. They age just as like humans do. Humanoid, to be exactly. So I know we're all waiting for that. That's on page 17.
The next race is the Centaurs. They were covered in, we believe, the Ravnica book.
Mm-hmm. They're just, basic stuff. They give you a strength increase, wisdom increase. Their alignments can go on. They age the same as humans, which kind of surprised me because I knew they were part horse.
Yeah.
But, all that's the same. Size, they are fey rather than humanoid, and they get a hoof attack.
This next race is one that if you've played Magic the Gathering for any amount of time, you've seen these guys, usually on some Plains cards.
Yep.
The Leonin. They're like a lion folk kind of people. They're the burly version of the Tabaxi, if you kind of want to look at it like that. They get a con score increase of 2, strength by 1. They lean towards more good alignments, but, as, in all D&D, you can have it do whatever you want.
Right.
They're a medium-sized creature. Speed is 35 feet, which is pretty cool, because that's a little above the normal. They get dark vision. They have a claw attack. They have a ability called Hunter's Instincts. They gain proficiency in one of the following skills, either athletics, intimidation, perception, or survival. They also get Daunting Roar. As a bonus action, you can let out an especially menacing roar. Creatures of your choice within 10 feet of you that can hear you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become frightened of you until the end of your next turn. And there's a DC save on there. And they speak Common and Leonin for their languages.
What's interesting is you talked about, the Tabaxian, which I've played once.
Mm-hmm.
I have not obviously played this new race, but I'd like to see the difference of them. I don't think I played the Tabaxian very often. It might have been like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy it, but I played him as kind of like a dexed, back range fighter. So these guys might be a little bit closer combat.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see a mix of them.
Their ability increases definitely lean more towards like a barbarian.
Yeah.
Especially with that con increase in the strength, obviously.
The other race in this book is Minotaur, which has been used in other ones. They also get a strength of +2 and a con +1. They age the same as humans. Their alignment, could be whatever. Most of the time it's lawful. It has their size. Their land speed is only 30. They get a horn attack, and they get a rush attack, which immediately after you use the dash action on your turn for at least 20 feet, you can make a melee attack with a bonus action with your horns.
Pretty rad.
They also speak Common and Minotaur and can write and understand both of those languages.
So the next race is the Seders. If you know anything about Greek mythology, you've seen Seders. Think Phil from Hercules.
Yep.
They get an ability score increase of Charisma by 2, Dex by 1, so really good for your casters, at least the Charisma-based ones, obviously. Their alignment, they're living a free life without the mantle of law, so they're more chaotic. Their speed is 35. They're a Fey-type creature rather than humanoid, which is pretty cool. They get a ram attack. You can use your head and horns to make unarmed strikes. They have magic resistance. They have advantage on all saving throws against spells and other magical effects. And they have a cool ability called Mirthful Leaps. Whenever you make a long or high jump, you can roll a d8 and add the number rolled to the number of feet that you cover, even when making a standing jump, and the extra distance costs, movement as normal. They also have proficiency in performance and the persuasion skills, and get proficiency with one musical instrument of their choice, and they speak and write Common and Sylvan.
The last race in this book is the Triton. That was used in Volo's guide. They've made some changes to this one. They get a strength, constitution, and charisma score, all increased by 1.
Super paladin.
I haven't seen one get a lot like that. They mature at 15, can live to 200, so they have a longer extended age than humans. They're about just 5 feet in height. Their speed's 30, but then they're also given a swim speed of an additional 30 feet. They can obviously breathe air and water. They can control air and water. You gain different spells as it goes. You get like Wall of Water, Fog, Clouds. You get these at different levels. They have dark vision. They also can speak to animals underwater. Cool. They can telepathically speak to them. They cannot understand anything they say back, but they can give little commands to make them do things.
Aquaman.
Yeah,
yep.
Right, exactly. They're adapted to frigid ocean depths, so they have resistance to cold damage.
That's really cool.
And then they can also bright, common, and primordial as well as speak it. The spell they get is Wall of Water. I did say 3 and 5. They actually gain the trait of Fog Cloud when they first just become level 3. They get Gust of Wind, and starting at 5, you're able to cast Wall of Water. There's all the different ones, and they're all based on your charisma. I've noticed all the races, or a large majority of them inside of this Theros book, they all get an additional, like the attack with the horns, or the Centaur with the hooves, or the Seders with the ram. They've all kind of added that in, which is kind of neat to give you that little benefit.
Yeah. And
all of them are like 1d4 bludgeoning plus your strength. They said don't use just the unarmed strength that's in there. So it's always good to be like, well, say you got captured and all your weapons are gone.
Still have an option.
Still got an option.
Yeah.
Still kind of a weapon. You don't have to play a monk with it, and you still get that little bonus. The supernatural gifts that are added in this kind of remind me of the dragon marks that are in Eberron.
Yeah.
Most heroes from Theros gain a supernatural aid, because it's supposed to be like a mythological Greek mythology Roman style like that. You can get it from sphinxes, from the oracles you were given at birth, and you don't understand why. They're all just a added gift that you can speak with your DM to be like, hey, I'm from here, can I get this assistance, because it's all about, you're praying to the gods. The first one in the book is the Anvil Rod. It is forged in fire by the god of Perforos, which is, the red god, fire, big war hammer. You can create this, basically what you get is advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, and your resistance to poison damage.
That's cool.
You do not need to eat or drink or breathe.
Oh.
That's it. You are immune to any disease, and you don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. Reminds me a lot of a Warforged.
Yeah.
Just right there, it's like, here you get these abilities. Because it says, your appearance bears a metallic shear, and you have visible joints. That really makes Warforged to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of these are kind of things I think they kept when they had it from Unearthed Arcana and switched it over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
The other thing, when you take a long rest, you must spend at least 6 hours in inactivity, motionless state, Warforged. And you appear like you're not moving. So, and then it gives you a characteristic so you can roll on a d6. Like, say if I rolled a 2, Perforos made you to serve him. So basically, I mean, this one fits Warforged pretty well, which is a great example of what Perforos is. He's just a big, giant, looks like a mechanical monster, humanoid.
Yeah, I really like some of the abilities that Anvil Rod gives you. If you use the Unearthed Arcana stuff in your games, you can get the Poisoner feat from the latest UA, the feats one. It ignores resistance to poison.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, if you want to check that out, you can find a link to that video right up there. The next supernatural gift is Heroic Destiny. Great deeds lie in your future, and it will take extraordinary effort to kill you before you accomplish those deeds. You choose or you roll a random destiny using the Heroic Destiny table. You get Defy Death. You have advantage on death saving throws. Yeah. Hard to kill. When you are reduced to 0 hit points but are not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest.
Just ain't gonna die.
Yeah.
You drop down to 1 and then it's like, alright, now we get him to 0. You got advantage. There's a good chance you ain't gonna die. And there's a chance you're gonna roll 20. The next one is the Iconoclast. It gives you Enlightened Protection. You can cast Protection from Good and Evil trait, targeting only yourself, and requires no material components. You can do this again once you've finished a long rest. Wisdom is your spell casting for this, no matter what. Another one that you gain is Reject the Gods. It's basically going on your own. You can't lose or gain piety, which will go over later, to any god. You instead gain the following traits as the characteristic level in one of them. So, and these are obviously still with your wisdom. At level 5, you can dispel magic with this trait. Once you do so, you can't cast it again until long rest.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a free dispel magic. I mean,
just
that's something that's super helpful. Like
all these seems like it's just you want to get rid of anything that has to do magically.
Yeah.
You can dispel good and evil at 11.
Cool.
In addition, when you cast dispel magic using this trait, you can cast it as a 4th level spell. The 17th, you get your archetype. You can cast anti-magic field with this trait, requiring no components. Once you do so, it's again a long rest. In addition, when you cast dispel magic using your heroic trait, you can cast it as a 5th level spell. So these are given a lot of the, hey, I'm gonna, anything that'd be helpful from the gods, I'm getting this out of here. I'm basically doing it as my own. I don't know, to be your own god, or just to be, hey, I don't need a supernatural being to be what I am.
This kind of has the flavoring of like a spellbreaker kind of character. I could think of a ton of fun different little ideas that you could use with this,
I think it fits in. I don't know exactly what class I would put this in with, but I mean something that has magic, because we always talked about if you can get additional spells just to get that don't count against you, always take them.
Yeah. When I think spellbreaker, my mind either goes to like either a barbarian, because barbarians aren't typically magic using, but barbarian has the downside of no spell casting while raging. The other end, I would almost go paladin. You could do like Oathbreaker paladin, because you're rejecting the gods.
Yeah,
so I think it would be
this bestowed on you.
Yeah, I think it would be really fun to kind of RP with that. Next we have Inscrutable. Like a sphinx, you have a mind like a maze. You get Psychic Shield. You have resistance to psychic damage, which is one of the rarest things for anything to have resistance to. And you get Sphinx's Shroud. You are immune to any effect that allows other creatures to sense your emotions or read your thoughts. Insight checks made to ascertain your intentions or sincerity have disadvantage.
Lifelong Companion is the next one. It's where you establish relationships, with the love of between two characters, as in Magic the Gathering. The 4-color legendaries is what they use for this. You get Boon Aura. Your allies within 5 feet of you had advantage on saving throws for being frightened, charmed, providing that you're not incapped. That would be pretty funny. It's like, hey, just drag him over here. Oh, he's knocked out. We still get it. Companion's Protection. When a creature you can see within 5 feet of you gets hit by an attack roll, you can use your reaction to cause that attack to hit you instead. Once you use this trait, you cannot use it again until you finish a long rest. So basically, it's like, hey, I'm here to be with my brethren that are fighting to take all the damage.
The next supernatural gift is Nyxborn. Born from the mind of the gods, the creatures that populate the gods' realm are called Nyxborn. With this, you gain Cloak of Stars. As an action, you wrap yourself in a starry cloak, appearing like a silhouette form of the night sky. When you do, attack rolls have disadvantage against you. The cloak lasts for 1 minute until you take it off or until you die. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you take a long rest.
And I like this because of the, it gives you the disadvantage. I assume you would do it in battle because it's only a minute and it doesn't give you like an invisibility, but it's super helpful.
Yeah. The other thing they get is Nyxborn resistant, and you're resistant to necrotic and radiant damage.
That's really good.
So,
to especially get 2 things.
Yeah, that's really great. Because those are fairly common damage types, I feel.
Most of the time it's like pick one from the beginning, so it's just like, well, I'm going to be resistant to both of them. It's okay. Oracle. You possess a passionate gift given to you by not just mortals, but by the gods themselves. It's a clear gift of communication. You have the ears of the oracle. You can speak, read, and write celestial, the language of the gods. In addition, a god might deliver a message through you, and you can decide whether to use your voice to allow the god's voice to come through, or to translate it so you can speak it.
That's really cool.
That's really neat. Oracle's Insight. The gods give you a flash of insight that helps you bring the efforts. When you make an ability check, you can roll a d10 and add that number to the roll. You wait until after you roll the d20 before deciding to roll the d10, but you must decide before the DM says whether or not it has succeeded or failed.
That's cool.
You get one of those per long rest. The other part, the Oracle gets Oracle's Piety. They give these abilities you improve when your piety score increases. Basically, since you're not using a straight god, you're using oracles, which are just slightly different in this one. When your piety gets to 3, you can cast augury as a ritual with this trait. Once you do so, you can't cast again until a long rest.
When your PD reaches 10, you get the Seer ability. You can cast Divination as a ritual with this trait, and, recharges on a long rest.
You also get Sibyl. You can cast Commune at 25 piety as a ritual. Once you do so, you can't cast it again until you finished a long or short rest. You can also can't be surprised, and provided you are not incapped.
At 50 piety, you get Divine Oracle, which this increases your intelligence or wisdom score by 2, as well as increasing your maximum for the chosen ability by 2. So it increases your max from 20 to 22. The next trait is Pious. Born with a particular connection to a deity, you have been winning favor with your god since birth. You get Pious Protection. If you fail a saving throw, you can re-roll it. And you must use the new roll. Once you use this trait, recharges on a long rest. You get Religious Study. You have advantage on any intelligence religion checks pertaining to your chosen god. Then you get Starting Piety. You begin with a piety score of 3 with your chosen god.
That's pretty good. And the last one in here is Unscored. It only gets one ability, but it's, I think, one of the best.
Pretty good.
When you take damage, you can use your reaction to roll a d12, add your Constitution modifier to that number rolled, and reduce the damage by that total. You can't use this again until you finish a short or long rest. Most of the times you're playing a con character, it's probably going to be 4.
Yeah.
So you can take 16 damage just straight off if you go perfect.
Yeah.
Or you still just take 5, which is, it's insanely wild to be able to be like, okay, I'm just not taking this damage to keep you alive. A short rest, and you get it back. Most of them's long rest.
Yeah, it is.
But this one, you just get that. That's the only one, but I think for that one, it's pretty strong.
Yeah, especially during like a boss fight or something like that. I mean, that's really, really helpful. So this has been a look at the races and the supernatural gifts that is in the Theros book. Let us know down in the comments below what you think about any of these, how you'd use them in a game. We'll put a link to Amazon where you can get your own copy of the Theros book. Please note it is not an affiliate link, so we're making nothing on that. We think this book is really good.
You can get either cover.
So if you want to see more D&D content from us, hit the subscribe button.
And until next time, keep the dice rolling.